Famous historical events. English listening practice. Introduction. History is full of events that shaped our world. Learning about them can improve your understanding of English while also expanding your knowledge. In this listening practice, we will explore some famous historical events in simple English. 1. The discovery of America, 1492. In 1492, Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer, sailed across the Atlantic Ocean. He was looking for a new route to Asia but instead found the Americas. This discovery changed the world, leading to new trade, cultures, and conflicts. 2. The French Revolution, 1789 to 1799. The French Revolution was a time of great change in France. The people were unhappy with the king and the rich ruling class. They protested, fought, and eventually removed the monarchy. This event introduced ideas of democracy and human rights. 3. The American Civil War, 1861 to 1865. The American Civil War was a conflict between the northern and southern states of the U.S. The main issue was slavery. The war ended with the northern states winning, and slavery was abolished in the country. 4. The First World War, 1914 to 1918. World War I was a deadly war involving many countries. It started after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. Millions of people died, and new weapons like tanks and airplanes were used for the first time. 5. The Second World War, 1939 to 1945. World War II was even more destructive than the first. It involved countries from all over the world. Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany invaded many nations. The war ended after the atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. 6. The Moon Landing, 1969. On July 20, 1969, American astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first person to walk on the moon. His famous words were, "That's one small step for man. One giant leap for mankind." This event proved that space travel was possible. 7. The Fall of the Berlin Wall, 1989. For many years, Germany was divided into East and West. A wall separated the two parts. In 1989, the Berlin Wall was torn down, and Germany became one country again. This event symbolized the end of the Cold War. Conclusion. Learning about historical events is a great way to practice English. Listen to recordings of these stories, repeat key phrases, and try summarizing them in your own words. This will improve both your listening and speaking skills. Would you like me to create an audio version of this article for better listening practice? Famous historical events. English listening practice. Introduction. History is full of dramatic events that changed the world. Some were battles, some were discoveries, and some were moments of great human achievement. Let's explore some of the most important historical events in a way that makes learning English more engaging. 1. The Great Fire of London, 1666, a city in flames. Imagine it's a quiet Sunday night in London. Suddenly, a small fire starts in a bakery on Pudding Lane. Within hours, the flames spread across the city. People run through the streets, trying to escape. Wooden houses burn down, and the sky turns red. The fire lasts for 4 days, destroying most of London. Key words to listen for: bakery, flames, escape, destroy. 2. The Boston Tea Party, 1773, a protest in the harbor. One cold December night, American colonists are angry at British taxes. They sneak onto British ships and throw hundreds of tea chests into the sea. The water turns brown with tea leaves. This event is one of the first steps toward the American Revolution. Key words to listen for: colonists, taxes, Protest. Revolution. 3. The Titanic Disaster, 1912, a night to remember. It's a beautiful night in the Atlantic Ocean. The Titanic, the largest ship of its time, is sailing smoothly. Suddenly, at 11:40 p.m., a crew member shouts, "Iceberg ahead." But it's too late. The Titanic hits the iceberg and begins to sink. People scramble for lifeboats. Over 1,500 people lose their lives in this tragic disaster. Key words to listen for: ship, iceberg, sink, lifeboat. 4. The moon landing, 1969, a giant leap for mankind. Millions of people sit in front of their televisions, watching history happen. Neil Armstrong steps onto the moon and says, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The world cheers. Humans have finally reached space. Key words to listen for: astronaut, moon, space, leap. 5. The Berlin Wall falls, 1989, a nation reunites. For nearly 30 years, a giant wall has divided East and West Berlin. Families are separated. Soldiers guard the wall. But in 1989, people take hammers and break it down. East and West Germany become one again. People cry and hug each other. The Cold War is over. Key words to listen for: wall, divide, reunite, Cold War. How to practice listening with these stories. 1. Listen carefully. Play an audio version of the story. Focus on key words. 2. Repeat phrases. Try saying some sentences out loud. 3. Summarize. Can you retell the story in your own words? Would you like an audio recording of these stories for better practice? Echoes of Time, a journey through history. Introduction. Imagine you are standing in a time machine. Each button takes you to a different moment in history. You can see people, hear their voices, and feel the tension in the air. Let's begin our journey through time and experience history in a whole new way. 1. 79 AD, the day Pompeii disappeared. The sun rises over the Roman city of Pompeii. It is a normal day. Children are playing, merchants are selling goods, and people are relaxing in the public baths. Suddenly, the ground shakes. A distant mountain, Mount Vesuvius, roars like a beast. A thick cloud of ash rises into the sky. Within hours, the city is buried under volcanic ash. People try to run, but the darkness is too thick. Silence falls. Centuries later, archaeologists dig through the hardened ash and find something incredible. Bodies, frozen in time, as if they were still trying to escape. Can you imagine standing in Pompeii at that moment? What would you do? Key words to listen for: volcano, ash, archaeologists, buried. 2. 1206, the rise of Genghis Khan. On the vast grasslands of Mongolia, a warrior is born. His name is Temujin. Life is hard. Tribes fight for power, and survival is a daily battle. But Temujin is different. He unites the Mongol tribes and becomes Genghis Khan, the ruler of the Mongol Empire. His army is unstoppable. They ride horses faster than the wind, and their arrows never miss. Cities fall before them. By the time of his death, Genghis Khan controls more land than anyone in history. What if you were a soldier in his army? Could you survive the battles? Key words to listen for: warrior, empire, conquer, battle. 3. 1431, the trial of Joan of Arc. A young woman stands in chains. She is only 19. But she has led the French army to victory against the English. The people call her a hero, but the English call her a witch. The courtroom is silent as she speaks. "I am not afraid. I was sent by God." Despite her bravery, the judges find her guilty. She is taken to the center of the city and burned at the stake. Years later, the world realizes she was innocent. Today, she is remembered as a saint. If you were in that courtroom, would you defend Joan of Arc? Key words to listen for: trial, army, hero, execution. 4. 1912, the night the Titanic sank. The ocean is calm, and the night is clear. The Titanic, the world's biggest and most luxurious ship, sails toward America. Passengers laugh, music plays, and everything feels perfect. Then, at 11:40 p.m., a terrible sound, ice scraping against metal. The ship has hit an iceberg. Water rushes in. People panic. Some get into lifeboats, but many do not. In the freezing Atlantic, over 1,500 people lose their lives. If you were on the Titanic, what would you do? Would you get a lifeboat? Key words to listen for: ship, iceberg, panic, lifeboat. 5. 1963, the speech that changed the world. In Washington, D.C., thousands gather to hear a man speak. His voice is strong, his words powerful. His name is Martin Luther King Jr., and he has a dream. I have a dream that one day, people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. The crowd cheers. His speech inspires millions and helps change history. Today, those words are still remembered. If you were in that crowd, how would you feel? Key words to listen for: speech, equality, dream, justice. Conclusion. History is not just a list of dates. It is a collection of human stories. Each moment was real. Each event shaped the world we live in today. Now, it's your turn. Choose one event. Listen carefully. And try to tell the story in your own words. Can you describe what it felt like to be there? Would you like an audio version of these stories for better listening practice?